Hello. In this clip from our Justia webinar, Content Creator Law by a Content Creator, Julian Sarafian discusses the rise of influencer marketing on social media and gives an overview of how attorneys are getting involved in the social media industry. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Now, why are we even here? Why is a lawyer telling you about social media, and what are the implications of this industry financially in the long term? We touched on this before, but let's dive into it now. Most of the money that's flowing into social media, both to creators and to the platforms, is advertising. This is a way to get in front of eyeballs. When you're paying a creator to advertise your product, you're choosing a creator that probably has an audience that you think will like your product, and you're betting on the fact that when 20,000 of those people see the product being shoved in their face by the creator, the social proof of that creator with their audience and the fact that they now know your product exists will be enough that consumer will turn around and then purchase the product. That's the bet. This is basically micro television. In the old days, there was no social media, there were no phones. Advertisers would pay to be listed on, the news channel in between segments as a commercial. Hey, everybody, go get this product. Nowadays, I feel like it's mostly just like medicine for old people. But on social media, it's not. On social media, it's everything. You're right. People are advertising everything. Yesterday, when I was scrolling, I got an advertisement for an ADHD related tool to help you be more productive. I got an ad for a pillow cube. I got an ad for some dog products. They're getting better and better at reaching their target audience. And creators specifically, it's definitely a wild west here in terms of where the value is. Like, there's a lot of brands out there that are paying creators and then getting nothing out of it. And there's a lot of, at the same time, there's a lot of brands that are giving creators nothing and getting a lot out of it. I think I may have said the same thing twice there, but I think you get my point. People don't know. There's really not many data metrics or data points or even like centralized information here that informs brands or even creators on like what the standard is. It's very much still developing. However, what remains true is the general principle that if a brand sees you as a sports content creator and they're selling some sort of sports product or sports blog, then they think, okay, your audience is my audience. Your audience is my customer. If I pay you, then I should most likely have some success here in getting people to come over to look at what I'm making. And of course, creators make money from these brand deals. Many of them rely on this money for their income stream because these platforms are not paying creators much money on their own. YouTube pays the most through AdSense, but that's based on the number of views you get per month and whatnot. And even that money is limited relative to what you get from brand deals. If you want to look at like the biggest example, Mr. Beast, I mean, he's probably getting a lot of money from his AdSense because he's getting hundreds of millions of views on his videos. But I would wager that he gets more money from the brand deals that his company and organization is doing when he tells you, hey, you should go to Honey and get this, plugin to save money on the internet. I mean, they're paying probably millions of dollars at this point. Maybe even tens of millions in some cases. And, behind every one of these relationships, there is a legally binding contract. There are terms that are negotiated, and we're going to touch on that. So, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, as we've been talking about. Creators, however, they're not being treated fairly here. This is a main reason I got into the industry. I saw in the first brand deal that I got a lot of terms that were red flags, and I pushed back on the brand. I mean, I had a legal background. I just did transactional work for 3 years. I'm like, I know how to do this. I'm like, what, can I push back on this term? And the brand's like, no, we don't do that. I'm like, okay, that's sketchy, but I mean, I want the money, and I guess I don't have a choice, so I'll do it. But that sort of mentality is very prevalent in the industry. And I always tell people, not even self-interestedly, if you don't use me as the attorney for yourself as a content creator, go to somebody else, but like get an attorney to review these things, because creators are giving away rights left and right here, and they're signing on to terms that are just egregious, and at a baseline, they're just unfair but they don't know it because, many of these folks are not attorneys. A lot of them are actually kids. I went to Vid Summit, which is the annual content creator conference for video-based content creators and industry insiders. And I think the median age there was probably like 24. This is very much a next generation economy that people are focused on. Older folks just either don't have the time or interest, or they're scared of the internet, which I don't blame them for. But in any event, these folks are young. Many of them don't have professional backgrounds. And even if you do, doesn't mean that you have the legal background or knowledge to understand what you're signing on to. So to that end, most creators do not have legal counsel. They just Wild West it. They go in, they're like, well, the contract is simple enough. They think that it's simple enough because typically they're not like 30 pages. They're usually like 3 pages, maybe up to 5. And I would wager like half of the terms they could probably understand, payment, the name, notice provisions. Oh, if we get sued or we need to contact you, here's a notice provision. But there's others that they have no idea, that their eyes gloss over, but it doesn't matter. A lot of them just are excited at the prospect of getting paid, and they don't think through the complications. So part of what I've been doing as a lawyer for creators, aside from actually helping creators on the legal side, is educating as much as I can on my platform that creators should take these things seriously. And there haven't been yet many high-profile cases where creators are getting massively screwed on the legal side. But I fully expect within the next 5 to 10 years that that's going to happen, because even though this industry is very young, it's going to mature. And when it matures, that's when you're going to get the fangs come out of brands, and they're going to go after creators for various things, or they're going to start exploiting creators. For example, if the creator signed over their name, image, and likeness, these brands are going to start just plastering their face everywhere without any regard to the creator, right? It's going to happen. It's just going to take time. It always does. Now, you might be wondering, how are these deals priced? We talked about Mr. Beast making millions per video. I mean, he's such an outlier. I wouldn't even begin to try to understand how they price his videos, because he's literally the king of content creation. But in general, there's some factors that go in to the decision for negotiating the price for a piece of sponsored content. Of course, what platforms are you on? That's very important. YouTube tends to be, for example, a lot stickier. The audience there tends to have a deeper connection with their creator, and so conversion tends to be better relative to TikTok, for example. Influencer reach, the number of followers you have, that's the biggest one. It's the easiest proxy for brands to think about how many people am I going to reach by matching with this creator. But the engagement rate is arguably more important, because that shows, are people actually paying attention to the content this creator is posting? You can have 1 million followers, but if your engagement rate is like 0.2%, that means you're getting what, like 2,000 views on each video? I mean, it's nothing. You may as well have like 2,000 followers at that point, right? So engagement rate arguably is more important, but some brands just don't look at it because, again, this is a Wild West and everybody's still trying to figure it out. The niche you're in is super important. Lifestyle, finance, those areas tend to do very well. Beauty tends to do very well. Not as much yet for areas like law, business. The type of products or services that folks like, for example, me as a lawyer, can sell to my audience. There's more limited. Whereas if you're a beauty creator, you have like, thousands of beauty related products out there where the brands are eager to sell. The type of content that they want, if they want a photo, if they want a video, that could determine the price. Usage rights, which determine basically if you're allowing the brand to step in and boost the content as a paid advertisement for an X number of months or even years. Exclusivity, is the creator signing on to a non-compete and thereby limiting themselves? But when it gets down to the numbers, the benchmark that I use and that I've seen that's most accurate is, for a sponsored video post, the payment rate is about 1% of the TikTok following and 3 to 5% of Instagram following. So myself as an example, 300,000 on TikTok, it's about $3,000 per video. 10,000 on Instagram. I mean, it's closer to like 15,000 now, but whatever. $300 to $500 per post. And that's, again, 3 to 5% of Instagram, $3,500. 1% of TikTok, 300,000 is 3,000 per video. That's a rough estimate. And that's a benchmark that I recommend for clients who are trying to price themselves, but it can be significantly higher if you're in a really, if you have a really sticky audience and a really powerful brand. It could be higher, 100%. It could also be lower if your content's kind of, not on target for what the brand wants. Now, because I've said this a lot, and I'm going to hammer it in again, this is a Wild West. And in a Wild West, you have a lot of inconsistent and sketchy behavior happening. Brands will claim they have no budget, even though they do. And that's just a way to not pay the creator who's asking for money. They'll lowball creators all the time. One of the most common tactics brands use is they offer an affiliate or a promo code, which is rather than a flat fee. So basically they'll say, we're not going to pay you at all for the content, but for every person that buys through your link, you'll get $1. And a lot of creators will see that and say, that's great. I can make money now. And that's true. To be clear, it's not a bad thing. Like affiliate marketing is huge. And if you do it right, you can make a lot of money. But what the brand is not telling you is that they would also be willing to pay you for the post in addition to the affiliate marketing code and relationship. You just have to ask for it. But a lot of them will offer that up front. And in general, the newer and more inexperienced the creator is, the more often these brands are going to prey on them. We're talking about the actual deal terms in brand deal agreements. If you're a transactional lawyer, this is about to be the best part of your week. If you're a litigator, you're going to be bored. But here we go. Okay. First important overlaying legal phenomenon that anybody in the creator world should know about are FTC guidelines, aka #ad, #advertisement. There's very strict rules here. The creator who's posting the video, they're the ones with the responsibility to disclose that this is an ad. It doesn't fall on the brand. It doesn't fall on the platform. It falls on the creator. So the creator needs to make sure, basically, that it's very obvious to the person on the other side that it's an advertisement. It needs to say #ad in big text over the video, maybe above their head, or it needs to be the first thing in the caption, #ad, or it needs to say paid partnership with. There's no clear right or wrong here, or rather, I should say that there's no bright line rule as to, okay, if you do this, the box is checked. Instead, the FTC standard is that they need to clearly and conspicuously disclose that there is a relationship. And I think those standards kind of need to be a little bit gray because the platforms are constantly changing. The type of content people are sharing is constantly changing. I think the FTC is going to really struggle if they say, oh, this is enough. If you #ad, that's enough. Well, I don't think #ad may be enough if you're dealing with a platform where the caption is completely hidden and you only see the video. Because now for the average consumer seeing it, they're not going to see it, right? Like there's so many nuances like that keep appearing that instead it just falls on the creator to make sure that they're protecting themselves. Bottom line is the creator needs to make sure that it's obvious. And #ad is a great way to do that. Paid partnership language is a great way to do that. Many of these platforms also have a toggle of is this paid partnership or is it not? And if it is, then you can toggle that on, and that will 99.9% of the time satisfy the FTC guidelines, because when those videos show up on people's screens on the other end, many a time it'll say paid partnership. It's like a disclosure that the platform is built in to help you. If you want to see some of these guidelines, by the way, they're in the extra course materials to this class. Okay, the first term we're going to talk about, this isn't really a legal term as much as a business term, but of course it shows up in these brand deal contracts. What are the required deliverables? AKA, what is the brand paying for? Are they paying for a video? Are they paying for an Instagram post? Are they paying for a LinkedIn post? Typically, what these clauses include is they include a video or a post, some form of content or a number of content pieces, aka like 2 TikToks, 3 Instagram Reels. And also, the creators promise to link the brand services or products in their bio, which is the link when you go to a creator's profile. They have a bio link, which is like a website. And typically what creators do is include a bunch of links in that one link. This is getting confusing, but like the important thing that you need to know is that the creator is saying, I will include your link to your product in my family of other links that I'm sharing with my audience. And that's typically for a period of time. Yeah, it's better to be specific. That's what this last bullet point is getting at. If a brand just says, do a video, it's like, okay, well, I can do a video, but like, what do you want the video to focus on? Is there a new feature that's being rolled out? Are you looking for views or are you looking for conversion? Sometimes brands want different things. I think it's always prudent for creators to clarify these things with them before they actually make the video and post it.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos on law practice and legal marketing. See you in our next clip.